morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another Bhava Sunday broadcast. I hope you can hear me okay. I forgot my headphones. I'm in Mount Shasta. Amazing. I'm so happy to get to broadcast from here. So if there's an audio problem, if you're having a hard time, let me know. Maybe I can pull this baby closer. But anyway, hi, welcome. Bhava Spiritual Mission Sunday broadcast. My name is Ingrid H. Turner. I am your channel for today. I am also the founder of the Bhava Spiritual Mission, and I run our school. For those of you who are not familiar with us, the Bhava Spiritual Mission is a non-denominational, all the faiths and more church. We connect to Holy Spirit to bring through divine messages on platforms like this. And we also have a school where we teach people how to connect directly with the infinite and unearth their spiritual gifts so they can take those gifts out there into the world and help raise the consciousness of the planet. We are all meant and able to connect with divine spirit, but we all have our own fun, unique way of doing it. And if you're interested in learning more about that and your particular way of doing that, I encourage you to check out our website, bhavamission.org. It is in the description of the video. And you can look at our ministry and see what we're all about. And if it pulls you, submit an application. Let's chat. Let's talk further. Hello, Ashley. Oh, good. You can hear me. Good morning, Renee. Two of our Bhava babes on here this morning. I'm so happy to see you and connect with you and be with you. I'm really grateful for us all gathering here to create this container, this magical, mystical container for spirit. The thing is, spirit doesn't care a thing about time or space. It doesn't care if you're sitting next to each other or if you're virtually connecting in your heart space. It's all the same thing to divine spirit. Time, space, it's a human thing. It's a mental thing. It's a construct. It's not something we need to put too much stock in. So thank you for showing up today, and thank you for helping to create this container for today's spiritual message. For those of you who are not familiar, here's the format for our broadcasts. So in a minute here, I'm going to ground us in to the earth's energy so that we can open way wide up to spirit. And then I'm going to open us up with a prayer. At that time, I encourage you to speak your prayers into existence. I call it the prayer pot. All right. So leave a comment. Who do you want to pray for? Do you want to pray for yourself? That's fine. Do you want to pray for a situation that you're going through, a challenge, or somebody else in your life, a loved one or a not so loved one who is in need of guidance and extra spiritual support? Prayer is so powerful in this new paradigm. Speaking, writing, taking it out of your body, making it tangible and real, and anchoring it in the physical is magic. It works magic. So I encourage you to participate in the prayer pot, my love. All right, after that, I'm going to talk about what I'm downloading from spirit. So, at the Bhava Spiritual Mission, we don't have a book we follow. We don't have a prescribed dogma of teachings that we follow. So it is all about this spontaneous, in the moment, reaching out, connecting with divine spirit, opening up and receiving the message raw as it comes through. And where you come in is you help us all expand and understand this message more deeply, because it's not something we're getting heady about. This is not something that's been necessarily passed down through a lineage. This is direct connection to Holy Spirit, to divine source energy. I'm going to bring through this message about divine hypocrisy in the way that it came through me, to the best of my ability. It is going to come through the lens of my perspective, because I am human, and we are humans here having a limited experience by the nature of this sliver of creation. So when you tune in with me, when we ground in, when we open up to divine source energy together, you're going to get more. You're going to get pings. You're going to have an expanded understanding of what spirit, the teachings that spirit is bringing through today. And I want you to participate. I want you to trust yourself. I want you to leave a comment. I want you to share your expanded understanding. I want you to share your questions. I want you to share memories that pop up, or just anything that comes in during our time together. I want you to trust that spirit is flowing into you. Spirit is flowing into you through me as your dedicated channel today, and spirit is flowing into you as the divine being, the channel that you are. So don't be shy. Let us know. Participate in this conversation. Okay? All right, let's get started. So we're going to ground in, and then we're going to open up with prayer. Close your eyes with me. Let's take 3 deep breaths together, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Feel your energy pool in your root chakra. And maybe it'll feel warm or tingly. You just be aware that it's happening. Take a deep breath in and pull the energy from your root into your heart. Exhale and hold the energy in your heart. Inhale and pull the energy from your heart into your crown. Exhale and hold the energy in your crown. Inhale and pull the energy out of your body. Feel it connect to divine source energy. And with the out breath, pull that energy back into your body and into your heart. Breathe in and hold the energy in your heart. Breathe out and pull the energy down to your root. Breathe in and hold the energy in your root. Breathe out and push the energy down your legs and into your feet. Breathe in and hold the energy in your feet. Breathe out and push the energy into the earth. Feel that energy hook in with the earth's core and take a deep breath in and pull it back up towards your feet. Exhale. Inhale and feel the energy hit the soles of your feet and move up your legs and pull again in the root chakra. Exhale into your root chakra. My prayer for us today, the intention we set for today's gathering, is that we are open to Divine Spirit's message, that we feel it, embody it completely, that we get into the practice of self-forgiveness and loving ourselves more fully. And we come to understand how every piece of our experience can be used as fodder, as building blocks for the divine expression of our deepest being, for our highest self, for our God experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And here we are. I invite you to throw your prayers into the prayer pot. Let us know who you have on your heart, what you are going through, challenges you may be experiencing. Say a prayer to Divine Spirit. Leave a comment. Anchor it in the physical. Say it out loud if you want to behind the screen there. That's fine. If we were in person, I'd be calling on people. Say, what is your prayer? Who are you praying for? And I would be supporting those prayers. And I support those prayers now. And whatever prayer you leave now, everyone who reads that, who sees that, is going to be saying that prayer with you, is going to be emitting energy from their heart, intention from their heart. Candy, please know you are loved. You are loved. Yes, so loved. Thank you so much. My prayer is that we do know deeply that we are loved so completely, so completely. All right. Marie, prayer for restoration. I join you in that prayer, Marie, that restoration comes to you, that you feel whole and complete and move out into the world as your most dynamic, grounded, authentic self. So it is. Here it comes, my darling. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful prayer. Okay, divine hypocrisy. So here's how I know this is a good topic. I feel anxious and nervous about talking about it. I've got that frenetic fear running about the topic of divine hypocrisy, hypocrisy in general. And when I know that when I feel that fear, that's like this, it's a symptom, a physical symptom of expansion. This is the bleeding edge. This is bleeding edge stuff that we're talking about here. And as I do my best to channel it as precisely as I can from Divine Spirit, I depend on you to help me expand on this message and understand it more deeply myself. So this topic, this idea, this feeling, this concept has been churning in me for a couple of weeks now. When a student of mine in one of our sessions exasperated said to me, I feel like such a hypocrite. And there was such tension and angst and anxiety and just, that feeling in her as she said, I feel like such a hypocrite. And what flew out of my mouth before I had any time to judge it was, we're all hypocrites, darling. We're all hypocrites. And when something flies out of my mouth like that and I don't have time to judge it, it just flies out, I know that's spirit moving through me. I'm open to spirit. So I kind of went, okay, cool. We're all hypocrites. Cool. And I kind of left it at that, but it's been churning in the back here. It's been sort of, and then yesterday, as my partner and I were driving to do some sightseeing in Mount Shasta. Yay. We were on a kind of a long drive and we're pretty comfortable sitting in silence, which is the nice thing about our relationship is like when we can just be silent and be kind of in our own space and also be together. And I was reflecting on, I was thinking about Jesus, right? I've been thinking about Jesus kind of a lot because last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I don't know now, I got to go to Southern California and see my beautiful sister, who I have not seen in 25 years. And she is a devout Christian, and I am devoutly spiritual as well. And we really meet in that thread of faith. We connect really strongly. And, she's a devoted follower of Jesus Christ. And I enjoy listening to her and I enjoy learning more about Jesus. I grew up a good pagan girl. Jesus was never really part of my experience growing up. I did have a really interesting, dynamic, spiritual upbringing, but Jesus wasn't really a part of it. And I have always felt drawn to Jesus, maybe because Jesus wasn't a part of it. I don't know. But, I was thinking about the way that Jesus is an example of a spiritual teacher that we assign divinity to all of his actions. And I think we probably do this with all of our spiritual teachers, our mystic guides. We assign divinity to the person, to the human. And what if we just let them be human with that connection to divine source and understand that hypocrisy is saying one thing and doing another, and it's kind of impossible to avoid that in the human experience and in the spiritual experience, in our spiritual life. Hypocrisy is a result. And I'm talking about, let me just kind of say, I'm talking about there's divine hypocrisy and there's willful hypocrisy. There's hypocrisy that is saying one thing and intentionally doing another and throwing the wool over your eyes, a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's a thing. All right. We have a hard time with that. But this divine hypocrisy is the way Spirit was bringing it through to me is it's more like missing the mark, losing focus, sort of like falling off the path. The thing about our spiritual lifestyle, at least for me, my experience with spirituality and my spiritual lifestyle, spiritual commitment is it's a constant refocusing. It's like, it's sort of intense. It's this intense focus and commitment. And so, and not irregularly, you lose focus and you end up kind of falling off of, you kind of like lose track of the stream. And that's where this hypocrisy comes in, when we connect to Spirit and we resonate deeply with the truth and we commit to living that truth. And then there are instances in our lives where we don't live that truth, where we are hypocritical, where instead of showing up in gratitude, we're showing up in resentment or negativity, where we feel powerless to take an action that we know is out of alignment with what we know to be our spiritual truth, our most exalted self, our highest standard. And what makes this divine is when we can love ourselves through it. Spirit tells me and has told me for a long time that there's no such thing as right and wrong, good and bad. It's all experience. It's all love and fear. And something that we've been saying for a year now is we've been really harping on this. You have to move from fear to love. Move yourself from fear to love. When we tumble off of our spiritual bandwagon, off of our spiritual wagon, It's because we are having an experience of fear. Hypocrisy is an experience of fear when we are simply losing focus, when we are needing to refocus. And our spiritual path it's not about being good. It's not about being right. It's about being aligned. It's about stepping into our most exalted self as it exists in that moment, living in our highest expression, holding ourselves to our highest standards that we know make us free and happy and authentic and real. So I think my feeling is we all have areas in our life where we live more often in hypocrisy than other times, than other areas. For me, it's easier for me to live up to my spiritual ideals, the message, the directives from Divine Spirit in my highest expression than other areas of my life. So for me, getting up and doing my morning practice is easy. To me, that feels like no problem. I got this. I can do 10 minutes. I can do an hour. I block out like many hours in the morning. I don't start work until 10 a.m. because that is my spiritual practice. And that is where it's easy for me to be most exalted in my spirituality, in my authenticity. It's a non-negotiable for me. But the area of my life where I struggle the most to stay in my own understanding of integrity and sovereignty is romance. Getting to, really any relationships, one-on-one relationships with other people, I find it most difficult to stay in alignment with my own authenticity. It's easy for me to fall into codependency, for example. It's easy for me to talk myself into all kinds of stories about what's going on. It's easy for me to fall into paranoia about people, to sort of deflate into this kind of weird lizard brain place. And it's something I have to consistently work through and work on and make a choice every damn day to stay in my highest expression in relation to my relationships, whether that be my lover, my friend, my family, my student, my client. A lot goes on in here. A lot of my fear brain comes into play in relationships. And so I end up, most of my hypocrisy, my divine hypocrisy comes out in relationship. This is not willful hypocrisy, because willful hypocrisy would be saying, yes, I'm telling you, they're giving you this line, and then I'm going behind your back and doing something else. That's not what I'm talking about here. My hypocrisy is about missing the mark. It's about failing to live up to my highest ideal in that relationship, and not necessarily by treating somebody else poorly, but by my own stories, my own energy, my own crap that gets in the way there. So what about you? Where do you show up? Ooh, I'm in alignment. I am at my most exalted in this area of my life. For me, work is another area where I can show up pretty dang exalted. Like, yes, okay, this is an integrity. Motherhood is where hypocrisy shows up for me. Parenting. Again, this doesn't mean that I'm out here saying I'm the best mom ever and then like being abusive to my child. This means that that's maybe another relationship piece right there is where it shows up there. But being a parent is where I tend to deflate to my lower expression as opposed to my most exalted. It's where I have to work. But these areas of your life where you find yourself falling most into hypocrisy, not practicing what you preach, or not living up to the ideals, the spiritual ideals that you know to be true for you. These are also the areas where you have the ability, I feel the destiny to shine brightest, to expand more fully than you're capable of any other area of your life into your highest expression. And by your highest expression, I mean the best possible version, the most spiritually aligned version of you in this moment right now. And that is constantly expanding. The best version of you is constantly expanding, because once you come out here and you reach the limit expands. As you reach the parameters expand. So this life is all about constant expansion. And when you're on the spiritual path, that is what you're going to experience when you are fully committed to the spiritual path. So how do we make this hypocrisy divine? we understand that this divine hypocrisy, where we are not willfully deceiving, but we are failing, okay, there's no such thing as failure, especially because there's no right and wrong, right? It's not failure, it's experience. When we choose to live an experience of fear and slip into hypocrisy, our choice is to compound that with more fear by judging ourselves, by avoiding, by talking ourselves out of it, by disassociating, these kind of things. Or we bring it back over to love, that hypocrisy, that experience of hypocrisy, that experience of contracting, bring it over to love by loving ourselves through it, by allowing the experience of not living up to our ideals, of that divine hypocrisy, to make it more clear to us how we can be, what our most exalted experience is or can be. And lovingly, through self-forgiveness, through self-love, loving ourselves into that highest expression. You can't beat yourself into submission. You can't do it. You can't beat yourself into being a better human. You can only love yourself there. You can only love yourself there. When you love yourself, no matter what you're experiencing, you open yourself up to God, because you are God. Your heart chakra is where your God self is physically located in your body. It's like an Iron Man power thing. It's there all the time, always churning. And the more you love yourself and connect with your heart, the more you open up the gates and allow divine spirit, all that is the God connection outside of us, to lock in with that divinity inside of you. And that is how you step fully into your highest expression and continue to expand exponentially beyond your wildest dreams, way further than your mind can comprehend. Yeah. So, darling, it's a practice. It's a practice. It is not perfection. You in this human body will never achieve perfection. And oh, that's beautiful, because it's so much more fun to know that it's a constant expansion, constant revolution of spirit. Constant. I am not the same person I was a year ago, 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Woo! I was checking out my Facebook memories the other day and looking at the posts I did from 10 years ago and 5 years ago. Like, whoa, I don't even know who this person is, because of my commitment to divine spirit. I'm in a constant state of evolution and expansion, constant. And you are too, because you're here, because you're watching this broadcast, because you're connecting with this message. So back to Joanna, beautifully human. That's right, babe. Beautifully human, imperfect. Not just imperfect is the wrong word, but it's like gnarled, differently made, different, like trees. I think I've said this before on this broadcast, is that what Ram Dass says, right? You don't look at a tree and say, oh, that tree's not right, it's not perfect. You look at a tree and go, wow, look at the way it bends. Look at the way those branches move towards the sunlight. Look at the path they took. Instead of going straight up, they went this way and this way, this way, this way. And that's like us on our path, on our human experience, especially those locked in to divine spirit, committed to our highest expression, to living our most beautiful and authentic selves, our most empowered selves. We're headed for that sunlight, and we do it in all kinds of ways. So be gentle with yourself, have compassion with yourself, make that hypocrisy a part of your spiritual directive, your spiritual path. Whoops, I missed the mark. That's the root of the Latin root of the word sin, is to miss the mark. I have sinned. I have missed the mark. No problem. Pull that experience over to the side of love. Let it give you clarity. Let it give you perspective that you could not have had you executed your experience perfectly. Ashley says, same, relationships. I think that's how it's supposed to be. We get to a place where we're aware of the BS we participated in early in life. Once we are aware, we begin healthier practices, but no executions follow. So we get to see where we need work. I'm putting that up on our screen because I love that, Ashley. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm going to do a little bit of a nitpicky thing here at the end, like where we need work. Again, we are trees. We don't need work. We simply keep growing in all kinds of fun and weird and wonky directions. And the weirder and wonkier we are, the more interesting it is, right? The more interesting our life. So that's beautiful. But I love that. We get to see where we go, where we're going, where we're going to shift course. What's the more direct way to the sunlight now? We've been going in this direction and we're starting to feel like it's not working. So how do we shift gears and move more directly up towards the sun? We take that side reel, we bring it back to center, and we keep going up. That's beautiful, Ashley. Thank you so much. Thank you. So you are not perfect. I am not perfect, but we are absolutely beautiful. And just my prayer for you is to bring this concept, this understanding out into your life, out into your spiritual practice, to love yourself more fully, even and especially in the midst of your sin. You're missing the mark. You're not getting it right. You not living up to your own ideals. Because when you can add that to your spiritual practice, you realize how very important it is to have the experience of failure to contrast the experience of perfection, for lack of a better word, winning, right? Failures, missing the mark, is maybe more important than anything else. It expands our experience exponentially. It expands our mind, our heart, and our divinity exponentially. You're doing amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for hearing this message. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your prayers. I love you so much. And I'm going to be back here again next Sunday, 11 a.m., going live. And if you want to learn more about the Bhava Spiritual Mission, check out our website below in the description. We have our ministry is open for new members. We also offer readings and workshops, and you can find those on our websites. One of our Bhava babes, Dina Daigle, is going to be offering the Moon Aiki shaman rites next week, starting on Monday. And that's really exciting. She's one of our leadership team, and she is bringing through her gifts that she was able, partly due to, she was able to unearth from her own work in her own lifetime, showing up in her divinity and in her non-divinity, and going through the Bhava Spiritual Mission Leadership Program, which is a very intensive course, and digging through and doing the work and coming to fully understand her gifts. And she is going to bring those out for you in partnership with the Bhava Spiritual Mission. And we're very excited to have her jumping on and doing that for us. So check out our website for that. Also, you can get a reading from one of the ministers or spiritual counseling. If you're feeling that you need that, you can just book it straight from there. And again, our ministry open for new members. If you are looking for a way to get in and do deeper healing work, and you're looking to understand your spiritual gifts better, you're looking to understand how you could bring that and birth that out into the world, the ministry might be the place for you. So you can submit an application on our website, and we'd be happy to talk to you more and see if it feels like a good fit. Thank you so much again and again. I adore you. I love you. I'll see you next week. Thank you.